Okay, you may now begin.
Thank you. So it's June the 23rd, 6:09 p.m. I would like to call the meeting to order. Welcome all board members and especially the HOC staff for making this time beyond the regular work hours in making these evening meetings possible. I know it's a lot of hard work coming into after your full regular days. To start with the proceedings, I suppose everyone was able to spend some time reviewing the minutes from the previous meeting. Are there any questions?
No,
No, I'd move them.
I second.
Thank you. Great. All in favor, say aye.
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 So the minutes are up from the April 2021 meeting are approved. John, can we move to the next agenda item, reports?
Yes, financial reports. That is, there you go. Let me open up my folder here. So financial reports that we submitted are current through May 31st. And primarily this, the 2 months of this last quarter. The 2 months from the last quarter, we had some activity in the STEAM program, which was funded by the board, and also some tuition assistance. So in terms of discretionary funding awards, there's been just a little bit of activity since our last meeting 2 months ago. We've also started to distribute some tuition assistance from the HOC Works funding award that you made earlier this fiscal year. I can tell you that in June, there are several purchase orders that will be paid upon. And so as you see in that table for the STEAM activities, much of that will be spent down, as well as the fiscal year 22 small business strategy course that will be spent down as well. And there are several tuition assistance requests that will be paid upon. So we're showing some progress on those expenses. You probably noticed that this is also reflected in the proposed fiscal year 23 budget draft. The FSS Scholarship Fund, there's been no activity in the last 2 years. Remember, 2 years ago, you approved to earmark, to designate $40,000 each year for a match fund where FSS graduates would be invited to participate in this program if they have high school seniors about to graduate or first year college students, and they're using, they don't have enough funds covered by scholarships from other sources that when they graduate from FSS program, they can use some of their escrow accounts that they receive upon completing the program toward tuition, and that amount would be matched. So each of the last 2 years, the FSS staff identified eligible households, reached out to them several times, and no one expressed interest. So, that designation then expires with the close of this fiscal year. We didn't include it in the budget draft for 23, but we could maybe revisit this throughout in the next fiscal year, halfway through possibly. And in the meantime, see if there are any other potential graduates who would be interested in this.
Mhm.
So you're planning to release them from restricted into the unrestricted pool?
Well, those monies, they're all they're all unrestricted. They're all in the general fund. It's
Mhm.
just that from the general fund, we designate. You make awards, and so that's what this table on page 7 represents. Is these are the awards that you made using discretionary funds.
Mhm.
So I guess to answer your question, within this discretionary fund, there are undesignated and designated funds. So you see the balance of general fund ledger is $319,981. And if you add up all of the designated funds that are obligated, that are not spent, then that brings the total down to 182,550. So that's, again, in the general fund, undesignated.
Thank you.
And the COVID relief, that money that we set aside wasn't used, so that likewise expires at the end of this fiscal
Yeah.
year. And also, AJ, if you scroll down to page 9, you see page 9 and page 10. These are reports from our finance department, from Pradeep, and his numbers matched all the reports that I sent to him. So you see our total revenue for this fiscal year through May 31st on page 10 is $139,365, and the total amount that we spent was $122,500 and almost 42. So our net assets for the year thus far just under 540,000.
So the budgeted, so the budgeted spending for this year was 277.
The spending, the budgeted spending was 122,542.
No, 122 is the actual. So I'm just going ahead of myself a little bit, because on page 19 of the attachments,
Oh, yeah.
the budget is the budgeted amount spending was 277 for this year. So we are up till 31st May, we are only at 122. Okay.
Right, yes. Yeah, you I guess the next page was that page 11, the budget to actuals. There you see all of the activity per quarter.
Okay.
And then the totals.
Mhm.
So you see, if you want, I could give a quick synopsis of some of the items. We on the income side, of course, we did much better than we anticipated, partly because we did receive a large unanticipated donation from Boston Financial Group of $25,000, and also received more grants than we expected for this Team Forward program. On the expenses side, of course, of what we continue to do is to designate a certain amount of general funds that you have the flexibility to use throughout the fiscal year to make awards for specific programs. The board designated funding awards. For the fiscal year, we budgeted 120,000, and thus far, only just under 40,000 has been spent. Of course, it's just another symptom of the COVID-related shutdowns, but we're hopeful that this next fiscal year there'll be much more activity Of course,
I'm sorry, John, could I just ask the question? I don't
Sure.
remember what the individual development account is.
that was the Emergency Savings Plus program that concluded I think it was the first or second quarter of this fiscal year.
Oh, uh-huh.
That was just a program to encourage. It was grant funded. It was grant funded by Capital One.
Oh, okay.
It was to encourage savings, our residents to save. So we had less than anticipated. We had lower participation rate than we were hoping, and even the previous IDA program that we had was less than anticipated. So we discussed all of this with Capital One, and they recommended that we submit funding request for the STEAM Forward program
Mhm.
for the kids. So that's why you will notice that it's not included in the FY23 budget.
Yeah, I see.
And the other big expense, you see the Kids STEM summer camp. That is completely funded by a county grant. This year, the grant amount was increased to $39,960. So we submitted the updated budget to reflect that increased amount. And now we're just waiting for the contract to be executed. And by July 1st, we'll be up and ready to roll. The HOC Academy has summer program, some virtual program, and also one of our partners, Learning Undefeated. They're the top-notch STEM instruction educational agency in the county, and they are conducting an exciting, very successful program once again with us, providing instruction, hands-on instruction for our kids, and then field trips to various STEM related companies in the county for them to actually see, how math and engineering and computer and biological experiments, how all that's conducted in the real world. So that's completely funded by a grant from the county. And then the ongoing line items, the school supply drive, that was a little bit less than usual because of COVID related. And I guess that's about it in terms that's really needs to be highlighted. Does anyone have any questions on the budget to actual spreadsheet?
No, I don't have a question, but I do want to say, I want to congratulate HOCP for getting that streamlining the fundraising effort, bringing in $25,000 from Boston Financial. Just curious, how did this relation? I think this is a new relationship, right, with Boston Financial?
Let me step in and answer that. So Boston Financial is one of our tax credit investors. And from time to time, as you all know, we reach out to our partners whom we do business with to support HOCP and our biannual fundraising. And so sometimes we reach out in the year that we're doing our fundraising, and they're surprised they've already planned for businesses that they will donate to. And so they planned for this ahead of time, knowing that this is a year that we would do our fundraising efforts. And so they planned and funded HOCP, which is great because we have quite a few tax credit transactions that we have on our books with them. So this was their way of giving back to a noble effort.
So this is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, it's terrific.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No. I think if then we can move to the next item.
And
Uh,
Oh, yeah.
so the next item, where are we? Yes, the Inspire celebration event. So as Karine mentioned that, this year we are scheduled in our biannual schedule to conduct our gala. And we have already begun. You see, we've already identified a venue, Viz Arts in Rockville, scheduled for October 13th, starting at 6 p.m. And it'll be similar to our previous in-person, this was in person too. And similar to our previous in-person events, it will feature heavy hors d'oeuvres and an open bar, and a lot of opportunity for our donors and partners and stakeholders to come and to interact, to also hear about the programs that we fund and that we are planning to fund in going forward. And we will probably also have an award that we will give to one of our very active community stakeholders, partners. We were looking for also a interesting guest speaker to also further attract more people to attend. Of course, as Karine mentioned, HOC has many partners in our development and construction projects, and we're primarily looking to encourage all of them to not only make a contribution to this event, but also to attend. It would be good for them to come and to interact and to hear about our programming. So we plan to send out save the date invitations on July 1st. And also we have plans for an email campaign that will begin shortly thereafter the save the date email, where we will feature a variety of our programs: STEM, small business development, adult education, back to school, just to keep the event in everyone's memory that it's coming up and that we're encouraging their donations. And of course, when people see the variety of programming that we offer, it's yet another way to encourage them and to ensure them that their contributions are making a big impact on the lives of our customers. So let's see.
Tell me about Viz Arts, John. I know where it is, but are we talking about an inside and outside venue, or just an inside location?
Yes, both. They have both. And
Okay.
if the weather allows, then we will utilize as much space as they can offer. And what's good about this venue is that it offers private space, so that we're looking at other venues where they would just set aside a room or two for us. We will have the whole venue to ourselves.
Okay.
So, and
Yeah, I understand it's also a rooftop venue, so there's plenty of outdoor space
Oh, good.
so folks can spread out, and good ventilation for those concerned. And
Okay.
the goal here is to monitor what's happening in the environment around us, so that if we have to shift to a virtual platform, then we'll do that, just to keep people safe. But
Mhm.
the hope is that things will continue to improve and we can do it in person and take all the necessary precautions, and we're still trying to work out those details.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're excited about this. And what's good about VisArts is that we don't need to pay extra money for cocktail tables, for tablecloths, for, you know, all that other, all those other items, decorations, because it all comes in the price. And so we're anticipating a lower budget than our previous in-person galas. And also we're targeting, in the past, we were budgeting for close to 200 attendees, and we never made that amount. So we lowered it now to 100 to make it more realistic. And our LPA team, our media team, you know, will produce also some slideshows and possibly some videos that we can show in the run-up to the event, and then possibly even at the event as well.
Okay. Any questions, concerns? You see on the last page of the event plan, we're budgeting expenses for 30,000 and hoping to generate at least 130,000 in income. Mhm.
The rent seems really low. The rent is what, $1,200?
I'm sorry?
The budgeted rent is only $1,200 for the space.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
Gee,
So
terrific.
yeah, it's a generous with the caterer too. It's a generous amount of hors d'oeuvres and open bar.
Okay.
So this is a good deal.
Mhm.
Yes, and it's less less demands on the staff, or with the venue providing all of these other things that we had to work on in the past. You know, it's good because our team is smaller than it was the last time we did in-person galas. So this is just what we need.
Good.
Terrific.
So we're all excited about it. Our next big challenge is finding a good speaker, someone who will really attract more people to attend, because you know it's not just the open bar; it's also you know who's going to speak and what the program is going to be like.
Yeah.
So so if you have any recommendations, of course we're more than happy to hear what you'd like to say. Like who can be a guest speaker.
So the budget I saw for the speaker was 5,000. We want one very prominent speaker, or we want to have a couple. What does HOC have in mind?
We don't have any recommendations just yet. I'm sure we will be talking about it, especially amongst our bigger partners. Karen, any Dean?
So we'll have a number of speakers at the event, but the goal is to have a keynote speaker, somebody who's very dynamic and can inspire the attendees to even dig further into their pockets and donate even at the event. So so we're looking around and thinking through who that person might be, but we expect to have speakers. Obviously, the chair of the board of HOCP, we expect to have somebody speak from the board, and perhaps other local speakers. But we're looking for somebody who will grab the attention of the audience and and just, make it a vibrant and exciting event for all the attendees, the donors, and everybody else that's there. And so we're thinking through who that person might be.
Okay.
So any ideas you have, we're happy to consider them. And if you think of someone and can tell us, why that person makes a difference in the county and to the lives of the folks that we're serving, that's awesome as well.
Irene, can I just ask you, is the policy to stay clear of politicians, given that this is an election year?
Oh, God, yeah.
Perhaps yes.
Yeah, okay.
Perhaps yes, because if you pick one, why are you
Then you,
picking
right,
that one versus
Yeah.
all the others? So yes, well, we can invite them all, and if they want to attend, sure, but not as a keynote speaker.
Right, yeah.
All right. If no more discussion, I think, John, we can move on to the next item. Approval of the
Great.
budget.
So, yep, the next and final item on our agenda is the budget for fiscal year 23.
Is this for deliberation, or we would need to vote on this?
Yes, we need to vote on this. So, of course, we can discuss it. If you have any questions, anything you'd like me to highlight, I guess, AJ, if you can scroll down to page 19, you see the entire budget there. For your convenience, I have this year's budget and then our total actuals, and then the proposed draft for 23. So you see on the income side, we have grants and anticipated Section 3 donations. And also there you see 130 that we are planning to receive from our gala. So it's a big increase in income from this year. And of course, primarily because of the gala. On the expense side, some things to highlight. We have the ongoing line item for the Housing Counseling Plus program, where we provide move-in assistance to our customers who are moving out of or moving into permanent housing out of homelessness. And that has always been a godsend for many of our customers. So that's just an annual line item in the budget. There you see also board designated funding awards. Like, we kept the same amount as we budgeted for last year, anticipating that this year will be a little more active. And in the past, we didn't have a line item for Section 3 HOC works, but now that we have a formal policy in place on how we expend those funds, then now we could put that highlight there, because those funds are separate and dedicated only to Section 3 related activities. And so that's why we have that new item. And there you see also the STEM summer camp. That's been an annual item, and the increase in the county award. We don't always expend everything. This grant is a reimbursable grant, so we have the expenses, then we submit an invoice to the county. So that's why you see the actuals are lower than what the county awarded us. And then, of course, the annual line item for back to school. This year, I'm not sure all the details of this year's back to school event, but it will probably be closer to the budget amount, 15,000, more than what we spent last year. And also one item that we probably need to discuss is brand new for us is the Tony Davis Scholarship, Tony Davis Memorial Scholarship Fund. Tony Davis Scholarship Fund has been funded by HOC for, Kevin, do you remember? It's something like close to 20 years, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
20 plus years.
it's whole lifetime, I think.
Yeah, it's 20 some years, maybe 22 years. I've been here 24, so.
So why is it coming to HOCP? What's the,
So so this year HSC's had to draw on its general fund operating reserves to balance the budget, given certain shortfalls. And so to ease the pressure there, was thought that this would be a good request. And so that's why it's coming here.
okay.
And plus going forward, now that if you approve, if you agree to take this on, now we have more flexibility. We could fundraise actually for this particular line item. Whereas always being funded by HOC, we couldn't necessarily fundraise for it. But now we can.
Mhm.
Is it always as much as 25,000? I remember it's scholarships and, based upon interviews and written statements, but has it always been that much? Refresh me.
Yeah, I think
How's it
it's
set
grown
up?
over the years, but there's so many kids that are talented and worthy of assistance that the commission has over the years pushed a little harder to provide some kind of support for the kids that are really strong academically and are focused on bettering themselves. And so that they've been loath to not award make an award to the kids, and so they've increased
Sure.
it.
Okay.
So
So how is it going to be administered now if, the decision making and the actual awarding? I remember there always used to be a little ceremony at HOC. Not that I care about being at the award ceremony, but who's going to decide how these funds are going to be granted?
I think the process will still be the same, but if the board wants to have one of its members participate in some way, then I think that's entirely appropriate. But the board would make the award to HOC, who would administer the review of the applicants and make the awards. But certainly the board can participate in that process in some form if you'd like to do that.
So it's not, we're not taking it on maybe as a board or as a staff to make the selection.
No, you're making the award to fund program, and perhaps not perhaps we would provide a report to you as to the outcome of your funding.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay. And then the last item in that section is Steam Forward. That's a new program that started this current fiscal year that we received grants for. We received a total of 45,000 in grants this fiscal year, but spent only 20. So right now the budget for that particular program will remain 20. So we have the funds, we just have to include it in the budget that we will spend it. And then you see fundraising expenses, the cost of the gala at $30,000. Administrative expenses, these are just ongoing expenses. That's just part of doing business. Our insurance, the only insurance that we do cover is directors and officers insurance. All the other liabilities, we are included with HOC's participation in the Montgomery County Self-Insurance Fund. So that's good because that really lowers the cost for us.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the audit, there's still one PO that just got paid on for the preparation of the 990. That's why the actuals are only 4,700 and we're budgeting 7,200 with this final invoice. So we'll bring it up to that figure. So, and who knows, hopefully we'll be able to get back together again in person in our meetings sometime this new fiscal year. So we kept some money there for any expenses to conduct our meetings.
Good.
So then in general, as you see, we're anticipating to use $52,800 in our assets to balance the budget.
Yeah, so John, quick question, like, is there like, do you have an idea of the 52,800 use of assets? How much is from the restricted pool and how much is from the designated or the unrestricted pool?
So all of it, but what would that be? All of it but 25,000. So a little more than half will be from our discretionary funds. The other 20,000 of that for Steam Forward, that's already from grant funds that we have in a separate fund.
Okay. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'll be happy to answer any questions to provide further detail on any particular item, if you have any.
Any questions from the board on the budget?
No, I know there were a lot of things in our strategic plan that goes back before the pandemic about, utilizing more of our funds for a lot of scholarships and programs and maybe seed money for people who are trying to become entrepreneurs. A lot of that unfortunately got waylaid as a result of the pandemic. Hopefully some of those things will pick up if, we're past that and on to other things. That's all. So,
yeah.
Maybe a little premature at this point, but we'll see.
Well, if there are no further questions or comments, then I would like to ask for a motion to approve the budget for 2023.
Yeah, I'll move it.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Or against? None. So motion to approve the budget for 2023 is approved. Yes, there is no other item on the agenda. Our next board meeting is scheduled for 8th August, John?
In August, yes. Let me see if I have it on my calendar here. I think it's the end of August,
Okay.
that last week.
When is the gala? Oh, the gala's in October. Okay, so there's enough time.
Yeah,
If-
there's plenty of
Yeah,
time.
okay.
So if there is no further business, I would like to ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
I'm in
Aye.
favor.
Aye.
Thank you.
Good.
And thank you, HOCP, for your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Great.
We'll see
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Thank
Goodbye,
you.
Goodbye.
everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.